Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. Harry's repeated nervous breakdowns. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Regular viewers of my work know that this is a channel about narcissism and psychopathy. There are others who undertake the investigative work, other YouTubers, news channels, etc., and I utilise the fruits of those labours to make certain points vis-à-vis the narcissism of particular individuals. Although I am privy to certain information, I don't share it, because to do so would compromise my own identity, something that I must protect. Therefore, it is more effective for me to rely upon the output of others and then provide you with an interpretation. I allow you, the valuable viewer, to apply critical thinking much of the time to determine the veracity of that material. Whether you believe that it is reliable or not, you can make your own minds up about that. I provide you with the interpretation of the behaviours as an expert in narcissism and psychopathy. When it comes to understanding this one's wife, knowing that she is a narcissist provides you with massive insight into why she behaves the way that she does, why she treats people in the way that she does, why she acts as she does, why she says the things that she says, and also enables you to see where things will end up. It also provides you with huge insight into why people, her victims, are treated in the way that they are and the impact it has upon them. And Harry is, of course, a victim of this one's wife. Irrespective of whether you like him or not, ultimately that's irrelevant. Within the narcissistic dynamic, he is a victim of her because she is the narcissist and he is what is known as the intimate partner primary source, the most important person in the fuel matrix. The person that is the easiest to control, the one who provides the most fuel, and provides the most character traits and residual benefits. Hence why he was selected, targeted, and ensnared. Some of the videos explain why she treats Harry the way that she does, why Harry behaves in the manner that he does, and how Harry experiences this narcissistic dynamic. Some information has been provided on X by a poster that goes by the name of Queer Lips of Truth. As always, you can determine the veracity of this material, but it is useful what this person has written to stress test it, if you will, in relation to the issue of the narcissistic dynamic. Queer Lips of Truth writes, "There is something I've refused to share for many months now, since I was aware, because I don't want it to drum any pities for Prince Harry and this one's wife. Particularly because I learned of this after the Sarah, Duchess of York, the King, and Princess of Wales' cancer diagnoses. And I didn't believe it because it felt like they wanted to jump on a bandwagon." Well, let's pause there. Accordingly, the poster didn't want to relay this information, apparently, because they felt that Harry and this one's wife might be jumping on a bandwagon in relation to ill health, because there had been cancer diagnoses in relation to the Duchess of York, King Charles, and the Princess of Wales. That is a fair observation. After all, if there is a bandwagon come trundling by, this one's wife will jump on it. We've seen her do so in relation to politics, in relation to fashion, in relation to philanthropic endeavours. If something is popular of the moment, that makes it easier for her to control people. It makes it easier to garner fuel and gain residual benefits. And therefore a bandwagon is particularly tempting to the narcissist because it allows access to the prime aims easily, something that the narcissism really wants. Accordingly, it would appear to be a fair observation that it could be bandwagon jumping. Nevertheless, Queer Lips of Truth continues by stating, "What has been told to me is that Prince Harry has had at least 3 very bad nervous breakdowns since the Oprah interview, so that's since 2021, and that on one of the occasions, the king had to call Harry personally to speak with him. One of the royal family's greatest fears about doing anything to cut off Harry and this one's wife permanently, although the deliberations continue, is that Harry is unstable. Some days he acts in control, happy and sweet. Other days he is drinking, calling weed, mushroom and coke dealers to high-profile celebrities for a high. I feel that despite the public show, Harry and this one's wife are deeply unhappy and unstable. They feel like victims and are struggling to, in the words of my informant, survive. They really want one thing to stick. The recent focus on Invictus and using Invictus as their springboard was something advised a long time ago by the late Queen's advisors to Harry, which he ignored then, thinking filming and production was more profitable, while Archwell was to be their main charity. But as their current director, the one who was on Netflix, reminded them, Invictus might be the way to get the public to forgive them. So much is happening in Camp Harry and this one's wife. Expect to be fed a load of nonsense these last 6 months of 2024, and something coming up next year, 2025, too. Well, as I state, you can make your own mind up as to what you believe in relation to what Queer Lips of Truth has stated here. But let's analyse the aspect in relation to the suggestion that Harry has experienced 3 very bad nervous breakdowns. First of all, we know that he is an individual that experienced the trauma of the loss of his mother at a young age, and that clearly has had a huge impact upon him. Unlike his brother William, who has dealt with it in a more stoic fashion, and privately, Harry repeatedly makes reference to the loss of his mother. This is a manifestation of the way that it has affected him. But it is also a manifestation of the encouragement that he is given by this one's wife to put it out there. You see, many narcissists, particularly those of the mid-range variety, need people to know about every facet of their lives and those around them for the purposes of garnering the prime aims. This means, for instance, you're treated to learning about Chrissy Teigen's abortion stroke miscarriage. She still isn't clear which one it was. That's why Jennifer Lopez has to announce the fact that she has gone somewhere. Why Andrew Tate has to release a bragging video. That it is necessary for them to repeatedly put themselves in the public eye to control the public and receive a response. Thus, for Harry, he has been repeatedly encouraged by this one's wife to talk about his feelings, to talk about his mental health. She does so not because she actually cares about him. Remember, she is a narcissist and therefore has no emotional empathy. But she does so believing that she cares. Her narcissism makes her believe that, so that she then manages her own facade, makes it look like she cares about Harry to the public, and it makes him believe that she cares, thus making him easier to control. What she's simply doing, however, is using his fragilities, his vulnerabilities, as a means to pursue the prime aims. It is the case that she is simply using aspects of Harry's personality and life to get what she wants. Not because she cares, not because she is compassionate, simply because it enables her, the narcissist, to get what she needs. Could it be that Harry has experienced 3 nervous breakdowns since the Oprah interview? Absolutely. Not only has he that inherent fragility and vulnerability, but more importantly, he's living with a narcissist. This means he is, and there is no doubt about this, because this always, repeat, always happens in the dynamic between the narcissist and the intimate partner primary source, he was always devalued. The nature of the devaluation can vary. It depends upon the type of narcissist and also the nature of the victim. But the sustained devaluation will include such behaviours such as belittlement, invalidation, circular conversations, triangulation with event, triangulation with person, triangulation with object. It may include physical violence. It may include sexual violence. It will include insult. It will include being argumentative. It would include such behaviours as shouting, alienation, gaslighting, decrying that the other person is not good enough. It will involve silent treatments, both present and absent. It will involve pity plays, false compassion, false contrition, provocations, projections, and blame shiftings. There could be control through clothing or finances or food. There would be the use of threat. There could be triangulation with the children. There could be issued a list of required improvements, false accusations, accusations out of nowhere, vagueness, bringing up the past, future faking, flattery, backhanded compliments, false problems, feigned illness, sexual belittlement, hijacking conversations. Many, many different forms of manipulation that can be utilised during the sustained devaluation and the respite periods that Harry will invariably receive. Accordingly, being subjected to these behaviours from somebody who you believe loves you, from somebody that you have committed to, that somebody that you share your life with, share children with, share money with, share your hopes and fears with, takes its toll. There are many millions of victims of narcissistic abuse, and Harry is one also. And therefore, taking an individual who has a certain degree of mental fragility, who has been isolated from his friends and family, which of course is a standard narcissistic manoeuvre, and then subjected to sustained devaluing behaviours, would mean that it is entirely conceivable, indeed probable, that Harry would have experienced some form of breakdown. And in the circumstances that Queer Lips of Truth suggest there have been 3 bad nervous breakdowns, is something that could well have occurred. This individual, of course, doesn't state where they get their information from. Nevertheless, it is conceivable that Harry would be subjected to such behaviours. It's inevitable that he would, because he's dealing with a narcissist. That's how the narcissist treats somebody in the course of the devaluation, the sustained devaluation. He will get day after day of it, days of not being spoken to, instances of being yelled at, property destroyed in front of him, told that he's not good enough, sexual withdrawal, no spicy poontang for weeks on end. And who's he got to turn to? His brother? Can't. His father? No. Friends? Hasn't got any. He's been made to rely upon this one's wife, and when she takes away that supposed support and replaces it with the malign manipulation through the sustained devaluation, Harry has nowhere to turn to and is just subjected to the full ferocity of her heat-ignited fury. Furthermore, as I've explained previously, it's likely that she will utilise her mother, Doria, as a lieutenant to further confuse and belittle Prince Harry, as using her to back her up to suggest that Harry's the one that's in the wrong. And thus it makes for a very miserable existence. And any of you who are listening to me who have been victims of a narcissist, who have been involved in that intimate partner-primary source dynamic, will be able to bear testament to the impact that it had upon you. Indeed, there will be some of you listening who have experienced nervous breakdowns as a consequence of the narcissistic abuse you have experienced. And therefore, it is likely, more than likely, that Harry has experienced these bad nervous breakdowns. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.